Now from the Weather Tracker TV Storm Studios, this is your weather today. Here's Chief Meteorologist William Cole.
All right, folks, here we go now on this Tuesday. And of course, yesterday, Monday, we had the near miss of severe weather, the severe weather outbreak that unfolded across Oklahoma. As anticipated, all of that active weather stayed well to our north. Fortunately, we were quiet here in North Texas. I think we're going to be relatively quiet even as we go through the day today. Maybe a low wind storm chance in our eastern counties this evening. We'll talk about that. And then kind of these lingering low wind rain chances over the next couple of days. Again, what exactly does that detail? And we're also talking about a big warm up and also a cool down, all in time for the weekend. So a lot of details here in your forecast, obviously, as we go over the next few minutes. This is part of the warm up I was talking about, mid upper 80s for daytime highs here in the Metroplex. A lot of bright sunshine today, but the one thing you will notice, it is going to be a drier, meaning less humid air mass moving in our direction. And it all has to do with that blue line. A cold front's going to come snaking through the area, not necessarily bringing much in the way of cooler air. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty warm afternoon. But again, you will definitely notice the less humid air, but it's not going to last for very long. In fact, as soon as that front comes through today, this evening, tonight, it's going to come back through as a warm front, and it's going to bring all that humidity back just in time for tomorrow. But where is the rain and thunderstorm activity? Of course, overnight, it was all in Oklahoma. Again, they had the severe weather outbreak that unfolded up there. But take a look at that arcing line of storms. It's the same storm system, and again, it continues to race off to the east. Upper level areas spin. You can see it right there moving through parts of the Great Plains. And of course, as that continues to push off to the east, it's pushing the cold front down into our area. Drier air mass, yes. And again, it continues to push that arcing line of thunderstorms, intermittent severe weather, obviously off to the east. And again, that would be moving away from our direction. But take a look at this. This is really worth mentioning because this will be as far as sensible weather goes, right? What do you notice as far as the weather goes as we go through the afternoon? It is going to be the area of brown moving in. We're talking about some pretty dry air. But like I mentioned, it's only going to be for about 6 to 10 hours because as soon as the front comes through, all the green you're seeing, that's going to come flooding back again this evening, tonight. And again, it's going to set us up for, again, these low-end opportunities of rain and storms going forward. Got a storm trough that's going to be setting up across parts of the Pacific West, sending out little pieces of energy over the next several days. We'll have a dry line set up. And again, there will be opportunities of rain and storms near the dry line, along with copious amounts of moisture and instability. Then as we get into the weekend, this storm system will eventually begin to try and come out, maybe even into parts of early next week with some of the newest data. And again, even into parts of early next week, the overall forecast does remain relatively unsettled. Now, I am going to also touch on this because if you look at the weather maps today, you are seeing red directly across North Texas. And you just saw my forecast, sunshine at a 0% probability of rain. Again, with that little boundary moving through, the Storm Prediction Center kind of penciled on this low wind opportunity of a couple thunderstorms. I think through the afternoon hours, we're completely dry. Our eastern counties this evening, maybe a low-end opportunity of a thunderstorm or two as that warm front begins to lift back to the north. I'll show you that coming up. Otherwise, for tomorrow, we will be watching mainly off to the northeast. An opportunity of rain and storms. Could be some severe weather up in the Arklatex tomorrow. So again, this afternoon, there it is, sunshine. We're completely dry. As we get into the evening, you can see a few showers, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder in our eastern counties. Not impossible that severe with quarter-size hail. We'll track that carefully. Then overnight, I think we're relatively quiet. And then for tomorrow, right there, you can see up in the Arklatex region an opportunity of rain, storms. Some of that could be severe. And again, even the opportunity of maybe a tornado or two, again, in that direction. Of course, we're tracking that carefully. Mid upper 80s for daytime highs. But look at the humidity, how low it's going to be in the dew point number as we go through the day. You can see by late evening, that does begin to creep back up. And again, moisture does begin to flood back into the area. Otherwise, a really good-looking Tuesday evening. Humidity is still relatively low. Temperatures from the 80s down into the 70s. And then overnight for most of us, 60s to right around 70. And then as we go through tomorrow, we continue to turn up the heat more in the way of 90s around the area. Tomorrow's going to be a hot one. And then, like I mentioned, after that, we eventually do have a cool down as we begin to head into the weekend. And again, we continue to have these lingering rain and storm opportunities in the next week as well.